I was raised right here in University Park. I've lived a few blocks from here on a 1-acre site in Voc Estates, and grew up fishing in the lake across the street from where we are right now in Williams Park, and always was aware of this house that we're in today, which has been a special house my entire life, and we're glad to be in it today, and glad we're able to save it from whatever fate might have come along. So we're grateful for the opportunity to preserve this house. So as I say, I grew up in the University Park, went to the University Park Elementary School, Highland Park Schools, and then went to SMU and graduated from SMU, and then went to Texas in Austin and got an architecture degree in Austin. And while we were in Austin, Louis Kahn came to visit the campus, and we as architecture students were, I don't know how many people know who Louis Kahn was, but he was a very well-known architect, designed the Kimball Art Museum in Fort Worth, and he visited the campus. And one of the things he said to me that has stuck throughout my life and career was, listen to the man who works with his hands. And that's a good thing to remember in our business, because we practice architecture. Our business is architecture and construction, and listening to people who work with their hands serves you well when you're in the construction business. So after our architecture school, I worked for Brandon Shellmeyer here in Dallas, Overton Shellmeyer and Ed Baran, which was a great internship for me, and then started my own firm where we did architecture and construction. And that's what we've been doing ever since, for almost 50 years. It's been longer than I recall when I joined the Preservation Park Cities, which hasn't always had that title, but that's the evolution of our title for this organization. I was not active in the organization until Marla Boone called one day, and it really wasn't an ask. It was a direction from Marla. She was the president of the Preservation Park Cities at the time, and she said, "Bob, I want you to be on the board." And she said, I know you'll do well and help us. And I said, "Okay, Marla, yes, ma'am." So I've been active in the organization since then, and the culmination of that, frankly, is this house we're sitting in today. The Albert Williams house Albert was an early mayor of University Park, and he commissioned David R. Williams to design the house for him, and it's to save this house, to renovate this house, which is what we've been doing for over 2 years, is an opportunity of a lifetime. It's a spectacular home. I think the benefits to me personally are that it gives you an opportunity to actively engage in the preservation of the important houses in the city and in the town of Highland Park, because we're losing them at an alarming rate. But the Preservation Park Cities organization has been able to influence the city and the town in thinking of the importance of these houses in our history, to our city, and they're the fabric of our being, our existence here in this city and the town. University Park is about 3 times the size of Highland Park, and it has fewer important houses, but it has this house that we're sitting in today, which is the most important house in the area, and in fact in the state of Texas, from an architectural history and the history of architecture. We've done over 800 projects. Not all are historic preservation. They're renovation, they're remodeling, and that's been the history of our business. We've done some new houses, but the majority of it has been renovation and restoration and expansion. the process of doing that, when you're working with clients who need to improve or want to improve or expand their home, it's a very personal relationship. You get to be very good friends with, or not. And in some cases where you don't, clients don't always follow your advice, and the client in the end has the final say on what actually happens. But we have tried to guide our clients in a direction that improves their homes, whether it's an expansion or a renovation. And that's been a joy to do that for all these years. And our clients have become friends, our friends have become clients. And so we've enjoyed that process very much. Well, the nature or the very definition of additions and renovation of existing homes, you're matching, in many cases, materials that were used years ago. So our sources and our craftsmen in our business are so important. When we have a variety of craftsmen, and a mason, for instance, in matching the brick on this house, for instance, matching the brick on a house, as you might imagine, this house was built started in 32, finished in 33. These bricks haven't been made. This is a Breckenridge brick, and it's not been made in a long time. And yet, our masons come up with something that's close enough. And when you appreciate that the ability to not only to do it, to execute, but to find the materials that match this floor we're standing on. And those people are extremely important in a business like ours. So any materials that are in a house of this age, to match it in a satisfactory manner, and to finish it. Our painters, our electricians, our plumbers, everybody that works on a house like this, they get the idea of what we're after. And if they don't, frankly, if they're not part of the solution, the satisfactory solution, then they don't last long in our business. It is difficult to find good people, but good times, bad times, interest rates come and go, and good business comes and goes. But we have retained our team of craftsmen and our sources for a long time, and they appreciate that, and they know that they can always count on us keeping them busy, and they answer my phone when I call. They answer my call and respond when I need somebody on a Sunday afternoon. When a client's got a problem, they'll be there. So it's a matter of having good teams, good sources, to be able to do the kind of quality work that we demand. We don't actively involve ourselves in the landscaping, other than to hire the landscaper, the landscape architect, and the landscape contractor. And it's extremely important to a house like this, for instance. You look out the back yard into the what's here, and it's an enormous asset to have good landscaping. And yet, you don't want to distract from or obscure the house, because landscaping can be too dominant. But it's in restraint, landscaping is it's an enormous asset to the quality of the design, the quality of the appearance of a house. Clients come in all different varieties. Some are well educated to begin with and become a real asset in a project like this one that we're in today. Some clients, on the other hand, want to turn it over to us. In some cases, we had one client that early on in the project had a serious health issue, and that client and her spouse were no longer involved in the project. So we took it from the very early stages of the project to completion while she was out of commission completely. So it's a team effort. It is a team effort to work with the client, to work with the craftsmen that work on the project. And when you're working, in many cases, the house is partially occupied. And working with the client's schedule and their family situation, there's a lot of factors involved in working on an existing home, which is what we do mostly. Well, that's something we think we're good at, is maintaining the original integrity and character of a house, and whatever's done to it should be in keeping with that. You know, in some cases, the client's desires, maybe not needs so much, but desires, are in conflict with the original character of the house. You know, remodeling and renovation, it's much like Lewis and Clark's expedition, where they were exploring the West. They didn't know what they were going to find. And a lot of times in remodeling and renovation, you don't know what you're going to run into. And you have to be responsive to those, to the conditions, to the discoveries. It's a voyage of discovery, as Lewis and Clark's called theirs. It is. You have to respond and be ready to respond and be flexible to what you uncover, because what you expect to be doing is not necessarily what you will be doing. You hope your clients, anytime they engage us for a project, you hope they love their house in the first place. You hope they love it enough to be willing to go through the process of doing this work, of either being involved with it or letting us take care of it for them. You hope they're willing to fund that project, because in many cases, you really don't know. The budget is not a finite item. It's an unknown. And some people are not very comfortable with that. And you really don't know exactly what you're going to get into, as I said earlier, on some projects, and so you don't know what the cost is going to be, and you have to have a client that's willing to accept that in order to get to the level of quality that we want, that they expect. It's not an easy concept to accept, that you're going to do a project and you're not going to know what it's going to cost and you're not going to know how long it's going to take. But the tripod of a success in our business is time and money and quality. And to keep all three of those things in balance and to our high standards is a challenge. And if you get a client that's willing to work with you on keeping the priorities on those three things, you'll be fine. Well, I think it's like people. I mean, diversity of people is an asset in our country. And I think it's an asset in our city to have diverse architectural styles in our city and town. So I think that enriches the quality of our environment, to have that diversity. It's not very interesting to have the same kind of people or the same kind of houses. And I think, so we applaud that diversity. And have not, in our business, in my career, have not excluded any particular style or architectural style. I applaud, in particular, the Reese Jones family for this particular project that we're in today. It's a once-in-a-lifetime event for us to be able to do this kind of a house that's the most important house in the state, and to have a client who's willing to ride with me and to get it done well. That is the ideal situation. That's what you hope for. and you may not get it very often. You know, when I was fishing in the lake across the street as a kid, looking at this house, admiring this house, to have this outcome at my age I can sleep well. You're having an investment in time and money, of course, but more importantly than the money is the time and the energy that you put into this house. And I think that's extremely rewarding for the client. It's certainly rewarding for me, but I think so with the client as well. And I think most clients enjoy the process. Not everyone does, but most clients do. And those are the most successful projects, when the client really enjoys working with us on the quality of the project. Playing golf is not nearly as much fun as building a house or renovating a house. This is something that I will do until I'm not able to do anything anymore. I'd much rather be here than on a golf course. So it's great excitement. We were remodeling Dick and Lynn Cheney's house when they lived in Highland Park when one day in the news I saw that George Bush had just asked him to be his vice president. And so I went over there the next day and opened the car door. Secret Service was right there. He's, Mr. Clark, may I have he knew my name without me saying anything. May I have your Social Security number? Sure. And I went inside the house to see Lynn about what we were doing in the house, and there's Secret Service in every room in the house, literally. And this was the morning after George had asked Dick to be his vice president. So you never know what you're going to get into in a remodeling project. And but the excitement of selecting materials and making decisions daily, every single day, is something that's, there's nothing like it. There's nothing, you can't do anything that's that much fun. I can't.